Started. The first thing I want to let everyone know is that this session will be recorded because we will be sharing this information on our Facebook page for others that were not able to attend today. I will start by introducing myself. My name is Kelsey Grubasich, and I'm the Civic Engagement and Leadership Coordinator at UWL, and I also serve on our UGetConnected team. So the first thing we want to do for our three agencies we have here today is to have you introduce yourselves, what the agency does, and who you serve. So let's see. Patrick, would you like to go first, explaining who you are and what your agency does?
Yes, I will. Thank you. I'm Pat Wilson. I'm on board chairman with Friends of the Blufflands, which is a local group that is dedicated to preserving the value of the local blufflands here in La Crosse. And I'll just give the mission statement here, which is a start. We want to be the voice of a wide variety of blufflands users who value the region's blufflands for the natural habitat and the plant and animal species that are supported here, and the scenic beauty for residents and visitors. I think it's one of the values of La Crosse here. And outdoor nature study and nature-based recreation opportunities and values that green space provides to the local community. So in order to do that, we promote conservation values in the blufflands, forest management and forest restoration, prairie management and restoration of the bluffland prairies here. Control invasive species, encourage native species, preserve endangered and rare species in our blufflands, and advise on trail placement and construction in the local blufflands, and keep it in a natural state. So we have all work outings that we sponsor throughout the year to help work, and they're all outdoor work outings, doing all that work, cutting and treating invasive species, planting pollinator prairies, trimming weeds around trailheads and things like that. I guess I'll leave it at that.
Great, thank you. Andrea, would you like to go next?
Sure. Hi, everyone. Can you hear me okay? Awesome. My name is Andrea Frisch. I work for WisCorp, and I am the Conservation Program Manager. So what I do is I recruit, hire, and train all of the individuals that are a part of our Conservation Corps. Currently, right now, we have 2 crews on the ground in Wisconsin and in Indiana at Indiana Dunes National Park. WisCorp as an organization is an environmental education and conservation corps organization. We serve individuals in the greater La Crosse area doing environmental education programming everywhere from toddlers to adults. And through our Conservation Corps programming, we serve obviously the public lands of the Midwest, everywhere through Isle Royale National Park, throughout Wisconsin, and then down to Indiana Dunes National Park. But our crew members and crew leaders are primarily college-age students. We do also offer programming for La Crosse area high school students through our mayor's crew during the summer. Yeah, I think that's about it. Kind of a good nutshell of WisCorp.
Awesome, thank you so much. Sienna and Sarah? Whichever one of you would like to go.
Hi, Sienna, I'm Sarah. Sienna and I are both from Mississippi Valley Conservancy. And so I'll start and you can pick up and help me if I've forgotten anything, Sienna. My role is as communications director for Mississippi Valley Conservancy. And our mission is to conserve the native habitats and farmlands in Wisconsin's driftless area for the health and well-being of current and future generations. And so we in fact have strong partnerships with both Friends of the Blufflands and WisCorp, because we're all have very closely aligned missions. Specifically, we help to permanently protect land from development, so that what the beautiful natural lands that we have here in the Driftless can be protected from mining and kind of unrestrained development that damages habitat. And, you know, with climate change as a threat to our whole planet, it's a threat here too. And protecting land for native wildlife is a great way to kind of give them added resilience as we have climate change and extreme weather conditions and things like that. So we protect land in 9 counties of southwestern Wisconsin, and La Crosse County is one of those. But we protect a lot of private land, but we also protect a lot of public land. We have 27 protected properties that have public access. And so like the La Crosse Blufflands that Pat focuses on with Friends of the Blufflands, that's one of the ones that's actually a group of properties that are permanently protected by Mississippi Valley Conservancy. So similar to the work that Friends of the Blufflands does here in La Crosse, we do that kind of habitat maintenance work on all of those 27 nature preserves throughout the 9-county area. And we have paid interns in the summer. Often they come from UWL, and we're always looking for people to join that crew in the summer months. And then we have lots of volunteer days throughout the year. And we've continued to do that during the pandemic. We're very careful with social distancing and masks and everything. In fact, if you look at the homepage of MississippiValleyConservancy.org, you will see us on a recent day out with a crew of volunteers on a beautiful Bluffland property, clearing and protecting a prairie while enjoying a fabulous view and also being social distanced. So we also do lots of events and things where we need help beyond just, beyond the crucial habitat maintenance work. We also do, we need all kinds of volunteers. We need graphic designers. We need photographers. We need people to help us with mailings and office work. So it's not just, if you don't know how to use a chainsaw, that doesn't mean you can't help us. So what have I left out, Sienna?
Well, you covered everything. I basically am just on more of the habitat management side of things. So I would be your contact if you wanted to sign up for a habitat management workday. So
yeah.
I'm Mulefeld, by the way. I'm the restoration coordinator at Mississippi Valley Conservancy. So.
And tell them about our page where they can sign up on the website.
Yeah, if you go to our Get Involved page, there's a volunteer tab, and right at the bottom of that, you can sign up for our emails and other communications about upcoming volunteer days. And we also post that on Facebook sometimes, so you can follow us on Facebook, or you can actually get to that volunteer sign up page right from our website homepage right now. So that's pretty convenient.
Great, thank you all so much. So the next thing we want to go into is, what are some needs that your agency has at the current time? Either volunteer needs, in-kind needs, or any other kinds of needs that you could think of that the community could help with. And I'll open it up to whichever one of you would like to speak on that first.
Well, I'll start, I guess. Friends of the Blufflands we're a low budget organization. We have no staff. We our volunteer needs are really to be out in the field working on projects, whether it be clearing invasives or planting seeds. We have really a need for someone who wants to be outside, and we, like all three of these organizations, are very similar in what we do, and we've worked closely with all of them. But I guess we're a pretty simple organization. We like to get outside and work and improve the habitat.
I can go next.
Awesome.
So currently right now, WisCorp has one volunteer opportunity on Thursday mornings working in our native gardens surrounding the Myrick Park Center or our headquarters. This opportunity is really great for college students who may or may not have a vehicle or prefer to bike, since Myrick Park is literally across the street from UWL and blocks away from WTC. So with the Native Landscaping Days is that you will work with our lead volunteers, who some of them are master gardeners, some of them are just native plant enthusiasts, and they work to maintain the native plant gardens around the building. So weeding is like a major one. As well as doing some late fall planting that we'll be doing. And these opportunities are listed on our Facebook page. And they go from now until the first week of November, when it gets a little too cold to do a lot of work outside. Unfortunately, that's really the only volunteer opportunity that we have currently. We do have some like marketing interns and social media interns, but right now those are full. But in the future, like in the spring, we will also have native pollinator garden volunteer opportunities, as well as internships. And then if you're looking for more of a paid position, we have conservation crews in the La Crosse area and throughout the Midwest, starting in March and running through November. Unfortunately, we typically have more volunteer opportunities with our environmental education program, but due to COVID, unfortunately, we're only having our staff provide those programs.
So I guess I can go next. So we actually just planned our volunteer events for the rest of the year that are open for the public. Due to COVID, we're limiting our volunteer events to 10 people, and then we'll stay socially distanced and work outside. But we'll mostly be doing brush work and maybe some seed collection on our properties. And we offer Friday afternoon work days once a month. So one Friday afternoon a month for the rest of the year. So there'll be so instead of one in November, we're doing one in early December, just because November is likely going to be our burn season. So we have October 9th in the afternoon, December 4th in the afternoon, and December 18th in the afternoon. And then we also have 2 Saturday work days, and those are October 10th and December 19th. And we'll be posting all of those on our website as well, but we'll be clearing brush, so a lot of the same type of work that Friends of the Blufflands does, but at properties that are a little farther out, around an hour away. So you would need to be able to drive to meet us. But they're really beautiful properties. They have really, really robust and excellent natural communities. So you get to learn about the state natural areas and some of the plants and wildlife there. So that's a pretty unique feature. And at a couple of our properties, well, actually most of them, since they're We work mostly on the bluff prairies. You get really awesome views of the surrounding countryside, and a couple of our properties, you get views of the Mississippi and the Minnesota Blufflands across the way. So that's pretty neat. And if you would like, you can sign up, like I said, on our website. Just make sure to click the land restoration checkbox when you sign up, because that'll put you on our list for our habitat management work. And otherwise, there's also an events page on our website, so you can sign up there as well once we actually advertise each of the events that I listed. So 5 opportunities from me.
Sienna mentioned the dry prairies, and one of the things that Friends of the Blufflands has been doing is concentrating on 2 prairies in Hickson Forest, Zerb Prairie and Lookout Prairie. And we have been trying to make Zerb Prairie kind of a showcase prairie and spending a lot of effort on it. So there's been outings there. And Lookout Prairie, this fall, we plan to have a big effort to clear woody species off of it, starting in late October into November. So I think we could put those outings on the on our Facebook page.
Great. So the next question that we have is, how has your agency changed due to the pandemic? Maybe less volunteer opportunities, you have more volunteer opportunities because there might be less staff now. If anyone would like to share a little bit of information on how things may have changed due to the pandemic for your agency.
Oh, Sarah, you need to unmute.
Thanks. We have tried to carry on in every way possible, but we've had to go virtual with most of our outreach events. So instead of gathering 30 people for a hike, we've been doing things like creating a video about that property, or we have an event coming up where you can go foraging for mushrooms and then come home with what you find, or call in from the field. And we're going to have an expert from UWL, a mycologist, on a Zoom call. So you'll be able to hold up your mushroom that you found and he will help you identify it. So that'll be kind of a fun interactive experience. So we're having to be very creative and do some different things with our outreach events. And with our volunteering, I would say the main difference is that we have had to limit the numbers. So limiting numbers and just being super careful with masks and social distancing and, you know, other basic kind of sanitation practices. But we're still doing it because, you know, all the health experts will tell you that one of the best things you can do is work on your own resilience. And one of the ways to do that is get outside and do, you know, really, it's a fantastic way to get outdoors and learn more about the native habitat here in southwestern Wisconsin.
Yeah, most of our habitat management work is we're able to stay socially distanced, and it's pretty socially distanced regardless, so we don't really have to work so hard on that aspect. It's just that during the briefings, when we're kind of leading and giving instructions and getting everybody set up for the workday and introducing ourselves, then we'll wear masks just to be on the safe side, because we tend to be more close together and talking more. So that's pretty much the biggest change, is just masks during the morning or the beginning of the event briefing. Otherwise, we just stay distanced during the actual work. And people can, of course, choose to wear a mask if they're more comfortable to do that. We just don't require it during the work because it is a bit more physical of work, and and we're able to stay distance easily.
Yeah. Friends of the Blufflands has been very similar to MVC in that we did miss Viterbo service Saturdays during the spring semester, and we didn't have any UWL outings, and that did hurt us. But we did, there's been one Viterbo service Saturday that this last couple of weeks ago, I don't know how long ago, but we did split the group into 2 work crews of 8 to 10 people each, and they wear masks during like you say, when you're getting ready, but once you're working out in the field, you're pretty much social distancing, and you're outdoors, which is supposed to be safer than indoors. We've also had some volunteer outings, and again, keep it small, or we've had one outing with as much as 20 people, but we had a big field and we all stood apart from each other while getting instruction, and then went out and worked separately. And somehow we've got more volunteer hours in this year than we did last year without the restrictions. So I'm not sure how that all worked, except we're all working harder. I guess we all have more time to go outside and work.
So for WisCorp, our kind of the way that we do things on a day-to-day basis has changed dramatically since COVID started. Our headquarters, the Myrick Park Center, operates as a nature center that is traditionally open to the public. However, we haven't been open to the public since March, something like that, you know, when everything changed. So that has been a big change for us because we don't have as many people interacting with us in our office, as well as most of us are working from home. And then the other, one of the other big changes on the environmental education side of things is that we traditionally would have school groups come to the center and do different environmental and nature education activities and programs. And that's where we have a large core of volunteers that help our nature teachers facilitate programming, and unfortunately we haven't done that. However, we have, since the school year started, switched to doing some virtual field trips with some local middle school classes, as well as currently right now we're running nature day camps for young children, so like kindergarten through 2nd grade for 3 hours a day to kind of partner with their virtual learning. On the conservation core side of things, we really haven't changed much of what we've done because it's really great. Like everyone has said, working outdoors is fantastic because, you know, it's deemed a little bit safer than working indoors. So a lot of our crews have been continuing to work, and we work in some remote places. So we have additional policies and procedures in place to keep our crew members safe and things like that. But we have been able to continue our Conservation Corps program from the summer and then into this fall. The only major changes, unfortunately, we were unable to go to Isle Royale National Park, which is a national park that is an island in Lake Superior, because the National Park Service shut down ferry service. So you needed your own boat or a plane to get there. And unfortunately, we don't have those resources at this time. but yeah, I mean, like it's definitely like a different world. Speaking to our crew members and crew leaders who come and work for us, they're definitely some of them had other plans, like we're in the Peace Corps or studying abroad, or we're going to go to the university for the fall and just decided that they're going to take a gap year. And have their gap year focus on serving the environment, which is really great. So they'll be with us until November.
And Friends of the Blufflands benefited from WisCorp operating the mayor's crew over the summer. So we had a number of mayor's crew outings, and we did appreciate that they were still working.
Great, thank you all so much. At this point, we would love to open it up to questions from some of our guests. I'll give you all a second to think if you have some questions. And also from our agencies, if you have any other information that you would like to share with us, we would love to hear that as well. So I'm going to mute myself and stay quiet for a few minutes and see if anyone has any questions they would like to ask.
I have a question. Hi, everybody. My name is Colin over at Viterbo. Thanks for doing this today. I'm really, one of the pieces that I'm trying to figure out how to do better is to support agencies in kind of some of the more long-term efforts at the same time as kind of the one-day service pieces. And so I'm wondering if y'all could maybe speak to a little bit of some of those ongoing efforts that might be able to collaborate with either individual students or classrooms. I think of an example I have is students in a specific course that might focus on the environment could help with maybe research or best practices or assessment, right? Like just thinking of some of those collaborations on how, say, an instructor might be able to integrate a more long-term support system that doesn't just stick to these kind of one-day service experiences on a service Saturday or a UGetConnected post.
That's an excellent question. We actually, from the environmental education side of things, so if there was, like an education or even an environmental studies course who wanted to do research on, evidence-based environmental education practices or coming up with signs, we've had multiple partnerships with UWL working on, making specific signs for the recent one was a timber rattler snake sign, and I can't remember off the top of my head. I could probably find it on my computer, but where that is, I think it's in Hickson, but I could be wrong there. So like working on that kind of like educational side things for us is really beneficial, and that's something that we could work with. Also, for us, it kind of depends on what the, goals and objectives of the class or the course are, because we can, for example, I partnered with a Western website design course where they helped us redesign the Nature Connections website, which it's a website that hosts all of the trails and parks in the La Crosse County area. So we're really flexible in where instructors want to go. It really would just be, setting up a meeting with us.
For Friends of the Blufflands, it would be along the lines of maybe adopting a particular site for maintaining it, or we've wished for a means of recording rare and endangered species that were discovered in the area of Blufflands, and what species are out there, where are they located, and tracking all that so we know what needs protection out there.
Similarly, for Mississippi Valley Conservancy, with these 27 nature preserves, we're always cataloging on an ongoing basis species on those properties, and some of them are better recorded than others, and so that would be a kind of a research opportunity. We think of these 27 nature preserves as outdoor classrooms, and we welcome educators and researchers to do work there. If someone's doing formal research there, we'd like to know about it, of course, and we might be able to help. But anyway, yeah, there are a lot of opportunities. Plus, you know, if you're a part of a club and you want to go and just get your group outdoors for something, I mean, we will also organize a work day. Let's say you go to a church that has a youth volunteer corps that wants to do something some weekend, you know, we will help you organize something like that too, because we know where the needs are, and we're always appreciating if you can tell us where the people are so we can match those things up. So clubs and organizations fit with our needs sometimes also.
Yeah, we work with groups like that on more of a case-by-case basis. So if there's a certain habitat that a professor or some students or a club or something think would like get them the experience that they want outdoors, then we can certainly work with anybody on that. We would just need to be contacted, and then we'll work directly with that group. And then today we're more advertising our general volunteer day schedule that anybody can kind of jump in on at any time. Anything more specialized, we would definitely have to work, like Sarah was saying, case by case.
Thank you. We did have a question in the chat for MVC. Cindy would like to know if there's any properties in Trempealeau County for volunteers.
We do have a couple of properties in Trempealeau County, but I don't know if we have any volunteer activities coming up or scheduled for any of those. One of them is at Little Bluff, right in the town of Trempealeau. Another one is called Trempealeau Lakes, which is just outside of the town of Trempealeau. If you go to our, if you want to just learn more about where these nature preserves are, you can go to MississippiValleyConservancy.org, and at the top of the page, you'll see a button that says Nature Preserves. And then each one of, they're all listed along with like rules and regulations, and they all have downloadable maps and hiking tips and things like that too. So, but I don't know that we have anything specifically lined up for those Trempealeau preserves this fall. Another way to kind of keep an eye on what's going on with volunteer activities at MVC is simply to like us on Facebook. That's where we also post, we post all of our volunteer opportunities as they come along. So you can sign up for them on our volunteer page. There's no obligation to signing up. It just gets you on the email list for volunteer opportunities. Or you can like us on Facebook, or you can periodically check the events page on our website.
If you're looking for somewhere, I mean, neither of these properties are in Trempealeau County, and the properties that Sarah mentioned, we don't typically go to for ongoing volunteer work just because we don't have the staff like funding to lead the volunteer days. But we do have a site steward at each of our properties in northern La Crosse County, which is relatively close. We have a site steward at New Amsterdam Grasslands, which is just south of Trempealeau County. And we also have Holland Sand Prairie. So I can provide the contact information for our site stewards. Holland Sand Prairie has a friends group that you can get involved with to do habitat management work there. And then New Amsterdam Grasslands, we definitely lead volunteer days every once in a while, but we leave a lot of that up to our site steward, Pat. So just let me know if you'd like me to share the contact information in the chat or something.
Thank you. Are there any other questions out there today? I think a question that we have at UWL as we're kind of promoting things to our student volunteers is about the personal protective equipment. Is that something that you all provide to the volunteers? Is there anything specific that you require that volunteers have when they come to your agency? Or just kind of anything about protective equipment, if you can share some information about that.
Friends of the Blufflands has not provided any personal protective equipment. And we are, I'm thinking masks you don't want to share, but I suppose you can wash them, but otherwise, well, sometimes ear protection if there's chainsaws operating in the area. We've done that. Otherwise, I guess one of the things I wanted to bring up is that we do need to be clear to the students what they should wear. I mean, on our outing that we had so far this year with Viterbo Service Saturday to clear Buckthorn, students showed up with gym shorts and t-shirts, and one of them had flip-flops on, and it's not what you want to wear going through the woods clearing out trees. So we decided we need to be more clear about proper attire for this kind of work.
Yeah, you generally are going to want long sleeves, long pants, closed-toed shoes or boots. I think we typically provide goggles. Now, again, this is not for COVID-19, but for safety out and working with the brush. You know, we typically provide goggles. I think we provide gloves, don't we, Sienna?
We don't provide safety glasses and gloves during COVID, but yeah, now we are asking people to provide their own just because of that added level.
Yeah.
So that is, I guess, something else that's changed, but we do have individually wrapped ear protection. So we do provide ear protection, and we provide helmets because we can sanitize those a lot easier. If somebody's brush cutting, so we do have that. And then we have, what else do we provide? We provide, a lot of times we use herbicide because you kind of need the herbicide to actually kill the brush if we're doing brush work. So we'll provide single use, kind of those nitrile gloves. So we'll provide those if you're working with herbicide, and if it's cold, that adds another layer. You kind of need your own warm gloves, and then that's usually good enough. But yeah, that's about all that we provide at this time just because of COVID. But we would provide safety glasses and gloves. I just think that's how we've been advertising it. It's just bring your own. But yeah, we could definitely do safety glasses because we can sanitize those, but we can't do gloves.
And we provide the single-use gloves for herbicide treatment also, yeah.
For volunteering with the native pollinator gardens around the Myrick Park Center, we would ask that the students bring their own mask. But if they don't have a mask, we can certainly provide them a disposable one. And if and when we get to the phase of opening up the building more and having more outside volunteers working with us on like a regular basis, everybody at our organization goes through COVID training So being familiar with all of our policies and procedures, everything from hand washing to social distancing, things like that. And then in that case, we provide hand sanitizer if there isn't anywhere to wash your hands with soap and water, masks and things like that.
Great, thank you so much. Andrea has also shared a link to the Native Garden volunteer opportunities in the chat. So if you're looking for volunteer opportunities at the Native Garden, you can see that link right there in the chat. Any other questions that we have today for our agencies?
I have lots of questions if you want me to keep asking. One thought that just came up, y'all mentioned a couple different layers that you can and can't do right with COVID. And so I'm sorry if you touched on this before I hopped on there, but I'm just wondering, right, this COVID situation ebbs and flows. I don't know how many of us have lived through a pandemic like this before, but if we can't be with you, right, like what are some ways that students, the community can support your agencies from a distance virtually that don't require, you know, the work outings or right, that kind of face-to-face interaction, and just kind of looking for some guidance there for, especially for those of us that, right, might be a little more risk to go out even now.
I have a couple of opportunities along kind of an alternative path like that. We're always looking for more great photos of the landscapes and the wildlife on our properties. So if you are an aspiring photographer and want to give that a whirl, we'd be happy to. We'd love to see your photos and potentially, you know, if you're willing to share them, we'd love to use them in our publications. We also have had some great content contributed through UWL and other students for things like book reviews or hike reviews. You know, we love to have fresh perspectives on what's out there. So last year there was a class from the English department at UWL that wrote book reviews on books related to climate change, and we put them on the blog on our website. In fact, if you go to our website and go to the Wild Reads, which is our blog, you can sort by climate and you can read some of those book reviews. We always need graphic design help. So, you know, whether it's developing an invitation for a fundraiser or new ideas for, you know, bumper stickers or whatever. We're always interested in creative ways to get people excited about engaging and protecting the nature here in this region.
Another way that you can support, like I said earlier, we do have some internships, but currently they are full right now. So that would be one way, especially if a student were to be looking for a longer volunteer opportunity where they had to get a certain number of hours. We do offer that. And I think the other thing is that, and you know, from our perspective, WisCorp's perspective, but I'm pretty sure a lot of other nonprofits, is a lot of our fundraising efforts are now switching to all online. So we have traditionally had a in-person fundraising event in December, and we are now in the plans of switching that over to a completely virtual event. So I would encourage students to reach out to nonprofits that they support their mission. And, you know, obviously we're not looking for students to, you know, share some of their funds, whatever little that they have, right? I've been a student, but even volunteering with, you know, helping organize the event or helping with creating social media campaigns, things like that, we would always welcome that help.
Likewise, we've had a lot of We've had marketing interns. We're interviewing right now for spring marketing interns. So if anyone is interested, it's right also on, it's on Handshake. I think you probably know that program. It's where we promote our internships. We interview year-round for interns. So some of our internships are paid, some of them aren't. But the descriptions are on Handshake and they're on our website. You don't have to wait until some perfect time to submit your application. If you want to interview now for an internship next fall, go for it. We're always looking. So that's another opportunity. But yeah, I mean, we have a social media campaign planned right now that we want to roll out in on the first day of December. And we've got the photos, we've got the concept, but we need someone to help us to refine it and actually implement it. So that would be a fun communications learning experience. If you want to help, let me know. And you can do that by reaching me. I'm at sarah@MississippiValleyConservancy.org.
Great, thank you so much. Are there any other questions?
I would just say Friends of the Blufflands has a Facebook page, and you can look us up under Friends of the Blufflands, and we post outings there.
Great, thank you so much.
And one other thing, this isn't really a volunteer thing, but I'm a shameless marketer, so I'll just tell anyone this. We have a hiking program called the Trail Trek Challenge. And it's a way for you to get to know all those different nature preserves. And if you go to our website, there's a button at the top for Trail Trek Challenge. It's free. You can sign up and go. And if you hike at least 5 hikes before the end of the program, you're eligible to be in a prize drawing. But it's mainly just a great excuse to get outside, learn about some new properties, and get your friends out too.
Great. Thank you all so much. If we don't have any final questions today, I would just like to say thank you for everyone that was here with us today. Thank you to our 3 agencies that attended. Please like UGetConnected on Facebook along with these agencies that are here today. We would love to help by supporting you all and sharing your posts as well on our Facebook page. So if your agency likes our page, then we'll be able to go back in and share those things that you post as well. And check out the UGetConnected platform for other volunteer opportunities that are available in the community. Is there anything final that our 3 agencies would like to share before we head out today?
Thank you for the invitation.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity, especially getting us all together. You know, as environmental agencies, not a lot of, you know, sometimes we're in little containers over here, and it's great to be all together virtually. And I would just say enjoy outside if you can. Fall migration is starting to happen, and so are the leaves on the trees turning, so it's a great time to get outside.
Great. Thank you all so much and have a great rest of your day.